Welcome to heCast, the official podcast of HeChangedIt. As always, I am Mike Chisholm. As always, I'm excited to have conversations with very cool people around the area of men's mental wellness. If you haven't downloaded the HeChangedIt app, what the heck are you waiting for? This thing is taking off. It's happened organically right in front of us, and we're so grateful for the hundreds of guys that use this app all the time. It's really gratifying to know that what my wife and her team have been doing is helping people. And it's really, really cool. So if you haven't downloaded the app, head to go to HeChangedIt.com. They've got the links to the appropriate store for your technological persuasion. This show is about men's mental wellness. We have conversations with all sorts of people, professionals in the field directly, different influencers, if you want to call it that, or people. But at the end of the day, it's guys or people with a story. And one of the guys who has been a supporter for us since the very beginning, just since HeChangedIt was in its infancy, is a guy by the name of Carl Poole. We're so excited to have Carl back today. If you go back and watch his very first episode with us, it was way back in season 1. Since then, a lot of cool things have happened. Carl has, he really did an amazing job kind of opening up, talking about the things that he went through growing up, and sharing some of these things with us, and you know, the loss of his dad early on and what that meant and how he dealt with it, and the way that people can actually look for solutions rather than focus on the problem. Carl is a guy who has, in front of the camera but also behind the scenes, been instrumental in the growth of HeChangedIt. Long overdue. Let's welcome back Carl Poole. Carl, I'm so grateful that we're actually doing this in front of the cameras again. We've been talking about it for a long time. Every time we catch up, it's a couple hours of listening to the adventures that you've been on and some of the things you've been doing. How have you been lately?
I've been great. It's great to be back. It's been 3 years.
Yeah.
And it's been in the back of my mind to get back in here and have a good chat and, go over everything. And I was ecstatic waking up this morning to come in. So thank you for having me. And
anytime. And yeah. I'm we probably should have done 2 of these in between. There probably should have been 2 more episodes in between here. It's
been far too long.
Okay. When you were last here, we've talked about your background in hockey and your excursion from Colorado up to British Columbia here and the mark that you're making. Hockey was something that brought you here. We talked about Ken Law, you're really a coach, but also a mentor to you. And when the last time that we were here, you were helping coaching in junior hockey, that kind of a thing. You've made a little bit of an upgrade. You've moved into the collegiate system and you got a fancy title.
Well, yes. The junior hockey years for me, they're not over. I think I'll get back into it at some point, but I did look for a change, and that turned out to be with UBCO and getting in with them when they were still fresh, and we are still fresh. They did give me a fancy title. As it's kind of funny that the president of hockey operations, which I don't know if that's appropriate, but they're doing a phenomenal job building that program over there. I really don't have to do much more than consult at the end of the day. Yeah. And the team we have over there, our director, he's really the guy calling all the shots and making sure that everybody's where they're supposed to be and that they're on time and everything runs smoothly. Yeah. But well, I'm there to be a lending ear and, listen to him if he has any steam to blow off, or if he just has questions about certain things, I'm happy to do that. But unfortunately, the trade-off is I'm not on the ice every day, which is too bad. But maybe someday I'll throw the skates back on and get a little bit more involved as a coach or something like that, or maybe just go push pucks for fun.
We talked about this last time you were here a little bit. You've been trained in business. You got a business family, and have come from that background. The width and breadth of your perspective, plus also having that coaching experience with young guys. Impressionable guys at that formative time in their lives. A lot of these guys have decided at this point here where they're not chasing the professional dream, they've decided to move into the collegiate side of things where they can still play hockey at a high level.
Right.
But can also go and become something. I'm super curious about your vantage point between the junior hockey guys who do have those dreams of the NHL versus these collegiate guys who still could get to the NHL, but they're also thinking maybe with a little bit wider angle of a lens. Are the players the same at this age, or is it? Do you find that there's a different mentality?
If they come straight out of junior, then yes, they are very similar to what I was used to before.
Yep.
But the difference with my approach in junior was to help them either move up in junior hockey, so to a higher level of junior. But if they didn't, to also help them move on. So that moving on part has carried over now into the collegiate level, where we're not really focused so much on moving them on. Some might have a shot at professional, but in reality, this could be their kind of last hurrah before they really become part of the community. And not to say that they're not already, but they go get jobs, and they are the people who
life after hockey is there.
They are the people that they're going to be afterwards. So I think this year, and I think in the past 2 years, we've put a lot of emphasis on, okay, yes, we want you to be a good hockey player, but we also want you to be a good person and contribute to the community and, make money when you if that's your goal, or, pursue your goals in a way that really, they're going to be beneficial to not only yourself, but your family and the community that you choose to live in. Mm-hmm. Because, at the end of the day, everybody ends up working for somebody.
Yep.
And even if it's for yourself, even if you work for yourself, that can be the hardest challenge of all, is working for yourself.
Yeah.
People that need structure or focus on jobs that provide that structure where they have bosses, that sort of thing.
Yep.
They need to be prepared moving forward into that out of collegiate, if that's going to be their path. And we focus on, not just the hockey part, but what type of person is going to come out on the other end.
In your experience during your formative years when you were that age, the emphasis on character that you're talking about here, was that existent at all back then? Like, is this somewhere where it's like, no, you know what? The puck is moving down the ice, figuratively and literally.
Right.
And we are being a little bit more mindful in how we aim these amazing specimens of youth, who are dedicating their lives and practicing their ass off and getting, really focused on these things. But at the same time, if that's all they focus on, this is where we go into the problem of people not knowing what they can do when the party is over, when it is done.
Right.
And that's what some of these junior guys that we talked about go through. It's a really difficult transition.
It can be, for sure. And everybody's different. So some of the guys treat it differently than others. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it does take time. It might take more time for certain individuals. But to get back to your question about, my formative years, I had, as you know, I had good mentorship early on. I had good structure. In our last session, we spoke about how I dropped out of university after a year and I got a job right away. So then I was working for somebody.
Yep.
And I was working for somebody that gave me purpose. And that led to other people that then saw the value that I brought with the skill sets that I had learned and attained through, the first couple jobs that I had.
Yeah.
And looking back on that now, I don't know that I would have progressed as a person if I didn't have those guiding hands. And I think to this day, I still have those guiding hands in a few different folks. And, one of my biggest things is never stop learning. So keep it going and continue to assume that you don't know everything. And there are people that can teach you more.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter if that's related to hockey or if that's related to, a project you're helping your friend with. Say, a carpenter or something like that, and you know nothing about carpentry.
Yeah.
And they teach you certain things. And, just this past summer, I helped my friend up in Terrace build a deck over the summer. I took a whole week and helped him build a deck with his dad.
Yep.
And I knew nothing about that. Obviously, I know plenty now about the butcher shop.
Yeah. Yeah. He built
and I could apply that work ethic to what we were doing with that deck, but I'd never really built anything like a big deck on a lake or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting and a lot of fun. And I looked at my friend's dad as a mentor in that situation. And I learned a lot of things that I didn't have prior to that. And I think that goes back to my point of never stop learning, always keep your mind open to new things. And, we can talk about my mom a little bit. She's gone down that road herself. She's on her own path. And she is very much into learning French culture and the French language right now.
Yep.
And she told me recently that she'll probably never stop teaching herself or learning about the French culture and learning French, because it is difficult, a difficult language to learn if you don't know any.
Absolutely.
And I think she's doing a phenomenal job, but she said, always keep learning, always keep your mind going. And I think I've realized that, in my early 30s here, that it's really important, but just to always be open to people that are willing to guide you and that are, maybe they are senior to you.
Yep.
And they have a lot to teach, and they're not always going to be there to teach it to you. So it's okay to be a sponge and just take up all the good information that you can.
I want to tie this a little bit to the last time that you were here, not to get too personal, but the last time that you were here, you did a phenomenal, I would even almost call it a testimony of kind of what you went through losing your dad and how the steps that you took to deal with that in by far the best way possible, as much as you could, and learning along the way, of course, and we always stumble along the way. But you strike me, Carl, as a guy who's always had guys like Ken in the butcher shop. You've got your partner, but also his dad, who's, you seem, and I'm the same way.
Right.
I have a lot of friends in my life that are 10, 15 years my senior.
Right.
And to me, I like listening to the stories. I mean,
Right.
It was my dad listening to my dad with his fisherman friends and the fishing stories they had or whatever, but also the life lessons stories.
Right.
And just to me, you have people like that in your life. It enriches your life if you listen to them.
Correct. Yeah.
You, from the very beginning, have you always been able to listen to some of these people and realize there's wisdom being shared here? I want to be a sponge for that. Or is that a skill that you learned?
I think when you're a teenager, it's hard to listen. I think every young young man goes through that.
Yeah.
Because you kind of most kids go through their rebellious phases if it's in their teens or, just before or whenever. But, listening has always come easy to me. And if you watch our last episode there, you asked me if I can translate. You asked me if I could translate that quality into relationships.
Yeah.
Because I do think I'm good at listening, and I do think I can sit there and, really comprehend and take in everything.
Just take it and not fix it.
We'll just take it in and really think about it.
Yeah.
And, if somebody's going through a hard time or, if they just need advice on something, really listen and then try to be more empathetic than sympathetic, because, if you can show empathy and approach somebody's situation, whatever it is, with empathy, in my opinion, then you're helping them. The focus is still on them. It's not about your own life experience, but you can give them advice in a way that doesn't focus on you.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important. But what's worked for me is always asking questions. So you hit the nail on the head with Randy down at Randall's there.
The butcher shop, which is going great, because I was just starting the last time you were.
We're busy right now.
Here.
We can talk about that in a second. I was just there yesterday.
I'm so proud of you guys. This is great.
I'll ask him questions about anything, and it's better to ask the questions than to just try to do it yourself if you don't really know. And it's okay. It's okay to ask questions.
Yes.
Some people might say even a stupid question is okay because you actually asked. It might be a stupid question, but it's the risk that you take asking that question. It could be a phenomenal question. even if in your mind you think it might not be a good question.
Yep.
Maybe that's the best way to put it. I shouldn't call it a stupid question, but maybe not the best question that you think you could be asking.
Absolutely. But you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And that's the thing. And that's one of the things I really love about you. The empathy thing. First off, we have, as an organization, myself personally, I've been a recipient of your empathy. And I am so grateful that guys like you exist. And it's funny because, I mean, you're what is it, 15 years my junior. And yet at the same time, the wealth of experience that you have gone through and where you've come from has a tremendous amount of wisdom. And when you combine that wisdom with empathy, oh my goodness, do you make the world a better place around you? And I mean, I know that you're not going to talk about your accolades. So I'm going to talk about them a little bit, just a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the things that you have done in the last 3 years with the Humboldt survivors. And Ryan Stresnitsky, which is one of our most popular heCasts, one of the Humboldt survivors, in a sense, they're all light bearers in their own way. But when you look at what Ryan is doing, on the cutting edge of trying to, with his paralysis, when you look at his foray into sledge hockey and trying to turn a negative, tragedy, that was on a national scale in our country. We still mark Humboldt every year, the golf tournament and the things that are happening.
April 6th, everybody still puts their
hockey sticks out.
Yeah, everybody does. So,
that. And
my mom still does that in Colorado. So,
right. It's not just national. You're right. It's international.
Yeah.
I look at that. I look at what you're doing with Dog Nation, and we've had Marty on here and talked about that. Even with what you're doing with the hockey league up in Northern BC, like the things that you're doing, you are really focused on taking the things that you have learned and trying to make the world a better place when you don't have to be. And to me, that is something that I want to pick the brains of people like you, because you don't have to do this, Carl. You got a pretty good life from people's standards if you want it, but you grind out every day. You're one of the busiest people I've ever met, and it's voluntary.
Right.
And to me, that is a mindset that almost all men should look at themselves and say, how can I be a little bit more? How can I be like Carl? And I know that makes you uncomfortable, and I'm not trying to, jeopardize our friendship by saying that to you, but that's how I feel about you. And I know there's a bunch of people that feel that way about you, whether they dealt with you at the Calgary Stampede just once and you made one impression with them,
right, or
the alumni of Humboldt that are sitting there at a Stanley Cup semifinals game in the box at the Edmonton Arena being focused on. And by the way, your Avalanche playing the Oilers too, which is pretty crazy.
Right.
You've had some pretty crazy experiences over this last couple of years. You've taken this light that you have and you're really shining it all over the place.
Well, everybody goes through hard times, as we know. And I do feel that I'm in a position where I can help and I can be helpful. I don't necessarily try to force that on anybody because, I don't want to, there's just some things that are, it's none of my business. And you have to be respectful of that.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that need the help. And if I can help them, then I'm going to. And, I think that's really important. People are out there, they struggle quite a bit. And a lot of it's underlying, as we've talked about, especially in men. They push it down. Let's not talk about it. And then one day it'll blow up.
Explodes somehow.
It'll blow up in one way or another.
Yes.
And we've seen some pretty horrific things happen because of that. And maybe all it took was one person, reaching out and saying, hey, how's your day going today? Mm-hmm. What's going on? Do you need help? And I commend, the men and women that have the courage to reach out and say, hey, I'm going through this right now. Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to do that. You have to be very courageous to do that because you don't know what they're going to say on the other end. And at least that's how it feels most times.
Especially beforehand.
Yeah.
Usually it works out a lot better than you ever thought it would. And it was like, well, what was I scared of in the first place? But that's a hard first step to take.
Right.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I think that over the past few years, it's been really interesting, and I've met a lot of really good people.
Yeah.
Because of just generally wanting to be more involved,
Mm-hmm.
but in a respectful way.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the folks in Humboldt, you know, we can talk a little bit about the objectification of people's hardships and their tragedies. And that's something that I don't like to see. So when I speak to, certain folks in Humboldt or, with Dog Nation,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I really try not to put them on a pedestal because of a tragedy they've gone through.
No.
I really try to listen to what they have to say and what they're going through. And it's not really an opportunity for a photo op, in my opinion, in a lot of cases. Even if, sometimes they really want to take a picture
Sure.
or something like that. And I've been fortunate, at least helping out with Dog Nation north of the border, that we've gone to, Edmonton games, which have been a lot of fun.
Yep.
And we've been out to the Humboldt Memorial Tournament, which is, they do a phenomenal job. And it's a time of, remembering everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but also getting everybody together, and everybody's golfing, everybody's having fun.
Yep.
It's raising a lot of money that goes towards their memorial fund, and the people that organize it are fantastic.
Yep.
I've gotten to know the three main organizers very well.
Yeah.
And that's been really special to me. So that's just one example, really, of what I've been working on, but Dog Nation as well has been working on as a whole. So
let's talk about that for a second, because thank you for talking about your mindset in this. I love what you said about the photo op thing. You'll do them if it's for the right reason, and sometimes the right reason is awareness and these things. But for the self-aggrandizing part, I don't know if you have a self-aggrandizing bone in your body, and I appreciate that about you very, very, very much. We had Marty on from Dog Nation. Let's catch everybody up about what Dog Nation is real quick, in case this is the first time they're seeing you on here.
Right.
Because you're a direct. Is it a director?
No,
it's south of the border, right? So you're on the board.
I'm an ambassador.
An ambassador. Okay.
They have their board set in Denver. They're based out of Denver. So.
Yeah. And what are they? They're a foundation. They're a foundation or a charity or both. How does it work down there?
I believe they are a charity and a foundation.
Okay.
So I think in the States you can be both.
Yeah.
So they run, I think it's about 3 or 4 main events every year that generate quite a bit of money.
And it's sledge hockey based, or is it beyond that now?
It's hockey in general.
Yeah.
Hockey in general, but we also do a golf tournament. I should give Marty Richardson a huge shout out, because he's running all of these huge events. So we do a golf tournament at the start of September.
Yeah.
Or middle September, which I actually went to this year.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. And I don't know if I ever saw the numbers on what we generated for that. But then there's also a comedy night that we do in, I think it's in March.
Yeah.
And that generates quite a bit. And the Colorado Avalanche have, they've been really good with us, and we'll have a couple players and some of the coaching staff, and, maybe Super Joe shows up every now and then.
We call him Burnaby Joe up here north of the border there, Carl.
I know.
That's Burnaby Joe Sakic.
Yeah, I know he's
Super
from
Joe down there,
he's from Canada, technically. But then, the biggest one I think that we do is the Dog Bowl, which is a massive men's, well, not just men's, it's a massive beer league tournament.
Yep.
I should call it.
Yep.
But that generates, I want to say, close to 300,000 or 400,000 US. And just recently we surpassed the $5 million threshold of donations back to the folks that have really struggled over the years and really need the help. And, a lot of that is a credit to Marty and his team there.
Absolutely.
And the things that I do north of the border here to help facilitate events that we can have here and be a part of here and represent Dog Nation here, you know, that they're very important, but in the grand scheme of things, they're minuscule compared to what he's doing. And they are very important, and they are bringing a lot of good people together that wouldn't have met each other before.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I think that's really special. And I'm very grateful to be a part of all that.
You read the term beer league. Up in Canada, we know exactly what that is when it comes to hockey. I mean, it's the lifeblood of our country in so many ways. Yeah. This all where it started from a beer league team,
right?
Who had, they had somebody on the team. Tragedy struck the family. Let's rally around for them. The feeling of that helping to rally around a family, what that felt like. Here's somebody else. Let's do it again. Here's somebody else. Let's do it again. Here's somebody else. Let's do it again. Now it's turning into this huge thing. And then marrying itself also to the idea of sledge hockey, you know, the goals that this place has to build the things and the projects that it has to help people to scale the idea of helping people.
Right.
But it all started with one guy on a beer team who, with an idea,
right,
who talked to the other teammates and look at the fire that can build from that.
Well, it literally, this is the famous quote by Martin Richardson. It really started from the passing of a hat around the locker room. What can you put in the hat to help out, you know, this guy that's going through a really tough time right now? And then quickly it snowballed into what it is now. And I think it's over 10 years old now.
Yeah.
And I met Marty in its infancy.
Yeah.
While I was still working in the Denver area.
Yeah.
So
it's not like he's a professional advocate or whatever, accountant, you know,
right,
who just plays hockey with the boys to let the steam off.
But he's become so much more now.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
You know, you mentioned how I've met a lot of people and have created a lot of relationships. Talk about a guy that I'm right here. He's all the way up.
He's a mentor to you in this area as
well.
Another one of these older guys that are in your life that mentored you.
Yeah.
And
he walks into a room, everybody knows who he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's been really special being involved with that.
I'm really happy that it's doing what it's been doing. And I mean, like we could have done, after Marty came on the show here, we could have done a podcast just on Dog Nation. And right, I'm just so grateful that that's happening. Let's talk a little bit more about what's been going on in your life. I know
where to begin.
I know, but let's throw some of the highlights out there and talk about some of these adventures. And hopefully my goal in talking to you, every time I talk to you, I'm stretched.
Right.
Because I know what my reality is. And then I look to other people in my life whose realities might be a little bit bigger. They have some of these different things that are going on in their life. And it's like, okay. And that gives me perspective on things. You're one of the busiest people I've ever met. And you always have something going on. And I marvel at how we talked a little bit about this before the camera started rolling about your ability to stay present.
Right.
And because you always have lots of shit coming down the pipe. You do.
It's hard not to. And
yeah,
we did speak about that, about keeping one eye on the future and one eye on the present.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do sometimes because some of the things that you know, I've been lucky and fortunate enough to do just over the past summer alone. It's hard to not keep both eyes on what's coming up.
And that's where anxiety lives. If you do keep your eyes on what's coming up, when the stuff that you were thinking about 2 weeks ago is here,
right,
you can't enjoy it,
right,
or be part of it, or be effective at it, as effective at it,
right.
And it can lead to a cycle of, you know, anxiety. I would just, with our granddaughter, we just watched Inside Out 2 a couple of times. It comes out, and one of the characters in that movie is anxiety, and it shows what anxiety can do, to the point of becoming a whirlwind in your head where all you're doing is just living in the future with the future possibilities, good and bad, of what may happen.
Right.
And you lose the ability to have what's in the present.
Right.
So I do want to talk to you about that, but here, let's do it through the lens of you being present through some of the things that you've done over the summer here, and you have been able to keep your eye on.
Yeah, we can go back and look at the past for a second.
Sure.
So let's see. Started July. We ran the final alumni tournament my business partner, Brandon Watson, and I ran our final alumni tournament for the Osoyoos Coyotes in Osoyoos, and that went very well. But it's been 10 years of us running it, so it's
you're done?
It's time to move on.
Do you have someone that you're handing it to, or is it done for now and it's there for someone to pick up?
It's there for somebody to pick up, and we're happy to support whoever does that. And we've made that very clear. But that was something very close and very special to both of us because it brought a lot of the former players that maybe never got to play together over the years just because their age range didn't match up. It would bring them together for a day and they could swap stories and, kind of poke fun a little bit at us coaches and that sort of thing. Kind of like, Carl, remember when you said this or you did this or, that sort of thing. And so that was really special to run that for the past 10 years. So that went off with without a hitch,
minimal hitches,
and that was over July 1st.
Nice.
So that was great. I was home here in
home here. Yeah. You got to be more specific.
Yeah. Home is here right now.
Good. Oh, yeah. I love when you say that.
All my things are here. So
I love when you say that.
Anyway, then after that went to Stampede.
Yep. And Carl at Stampede is a different, there's a whole ecosystem around when you go to Stampede every year.
Kind of like a wannabe cowboy. Like if you ask Marshall Porteous, he'd be like, Carl can dress the part, but I don't know if he's helping me with brandings and and roping or anything like that.
Not that week.
Yeah, not that week. So, and I know he's been on a couple times.
Oh, Marshall, please watch Marshall Porteous's episodes on here. Where he's actually coming on again because he's made a life change. He's moved into stand-up comedy.
Yep,
and
he's good.
He's really good.
I've watched it. Yeah.
He opened for Mark Maron a couple weeks ago in Vancouver.
He's funny.
He's starting to do really, really well at it. So yeah, we're gonna have we're definitely having Marshall back on. But
well, tell him I say hi when you do.
Absolutely.
If I don't get to before then.
And every time we talk, he talks about the influence that you had in his life and other people that you and I both know. But he talk about a kid who's grateful where he's at in life for the people who have helped him do that. Like, for the guys out there that are listening to this, don't think for a second that you're not making an impression on people. You are, and sometimes you may not even know it. And he talks about that with you all the time. But anyway, yeah. So Stampede.
This year I made it. I made it a goal to go for all 10 days, which is a lot of walking and, for lack of a better way to put it, a lot of socializing. But the rodeo itself is kind of the main attraction for me.
Of course.
But it turns into long days. And by the end of it, you kind of need a little bit of a getaway.
Detox?
Right. Well, that too, for sure. But that's when I went up to Terrace. Almost immediately after that. And that's when I built that deck. And I spent the entire week helping my friend and his dad build this deck, which I knew nothing about, like we talked about.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about carpentry or anything like that. So that was really fun and a good way to kind of decompress. And it's very quiet and peaceful there. And there are a lot of really good people that live there. So that was really great. Kind of one thing that I was looking forward to that I didn't get to do this year. And it wasn't so much because I didn't get to experience it, but I was planning on going to France with my family. But due to, certain circumstances, which I couldn't really control, I needed to stay in the country.
Yeah.
And
your family helped out with the Olympics and whatnot. That's why you were going to France. I just want to timestamp it for people.
Yes, correct. And
they help out with some stuff there.
Cool, which that's not really for me to get into on that.
No, but it's just super cool you had the opportunity, but you had to say no to that opportunity.
I won't lie. That was a really tough pill to swallow.
I bet it was.
And I was depressed for a little bit over that, and
I'm sorry to hear that,
because I was going to spend some time with my brothers and my sister out there and their families, and
what a backdrop.
And we were going to go to Monaco. Yeah. They still ended up going, which I think they had a phenomenal time from what I can tell. But that was tough not to go. But it was there are silver linings in everything. Mm-hmm. So there was a trip that Dog Nation had auctioned off at my request to Langara Lodge up in the northern Haida Gwaii area. for fishing.
I was going to say,
And
world-class fishing.
A couple very, a very nice couple bid on it, and they won it. And I would have been flying back from Paris to Vancouver.
Yeah.
The same day that I would be meeting them in Vancouver, staying the night, flying to Langara jet lagged, and then go fishing for, which I know it sounds terrible, but
no.
But
logistically,
it would have been hard, and I was able to actually, prepare for that, and be ready for that, packed for that, and
there's a lesson there too. Sometimes you got to say no to something when you know you got priorities and you can't fit it all in.
Right, and for Dog Nation, I wanted to make sure I was the ambassador that was there.
Yeah.
Another ambassador that we had there was Jan Heda, who played for Colorado for the Avalanche. And I've gotten to know him a little bit over the years, and what a character, what a phenomenal guy. And if you want to, hear some funny stories and some good jokes out on the water while you're fishing, and maybe you have a beer in your hand, go with a guy like that. And,
Are they all hockey stories? Or are they just life stories at this point?
Life stories, but also hockey stories.
A lot of hockey stories. Yeah, there would be with him.
Yeah, so that went really well, and we caught all our limits, which I wanted to make sure that the people that had bid on it,
yep.
They were priority, make sure that they had fun, and I think they had a great time. And then literally got home on a Tuesday.
Yep.
Reset, and Thursday was on a flight out to Saskatchewan for the Humboldt Memorial Tournament. And the way they run it there is on the Friday, they kind of have all the families. They show up for golf, just for the families. And I've been fortunate enough to get to know the Tobin family.
Yep.
Their son was Parker Tobin.
Yeah.
And I've been fortunate that they've invited me to golf with them on that day specifically, which was a great time.
Absolutely.
And, always great to spend time with them and catch up with them. And they're really awesome people and very special to me now. And then the main tournament is the Saturday.
Yep.
And that's when, folks like Jared Bednar are there. He's from the Humboldt, and a couple other folks are there, and they have their big live auction and all that. And they I think they had 180 golfers that day, which technically I don't think you're supposed to do that. But
that's what you want.
But that went
fantastic.
That went really well. Yeah. And then the same thing, literally got back home to Kelowna, rested up, did laundry.
Reset.
Reset.
Yeah.
Right back to Calgary for Ryan Straczynski's tournament. And we went with a couple of his mutual friends and his good mutual friend's father, who I've gotten to know. And I actually coached for the Chiefs as well. So just another one of those small hockey world connections.
Yeah.
And we had a great time at that. Ryan runs a phenomenal tournament out there. And
Straz is a special guy.
He really is.
Let's just highlight that guy for a second here. I mean, involved in life-changing events that none of us could really wrap our head. Most people can't really wrap their head around. And the guy decided to just continue. He had a champion mindset when he was playing junior hockey for Humboldt, but that champion mindset has just stayed with Ryan. And I mean, it was one of the greatest conversations I've ever had with a human.
There's no
talking to him.
There's no stopping him.
There's no stopping him. And I mean, he's expanded so much since the last time that we'd seen him. And I mean, it must be fun being his wingman sometimes and being his support.
It is fun being around him, and his energy is very contagious.
Yeah.
So we were all very happy to be invited to that and participate in that. We had a good group, and we hit the ball okay. But,
had some fun too.
We had a good time, and he did a great job of setting up getting all the holes set up and sponsored and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so he did the logistics.
He has it all down to a science.
And he does that in Calgary.
He does that in Calgary.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah. So that was pretty much August for me. Then at the start of September, flew down for the Dog Nation golf tournament which also went very well.
And that's in Denver?
Yep.
Yep.
And that one was nice to go to because since Marty has it down to a science and the entire Dog Nation team is there, I actually didn't have to do too much aside from just socialize. And I actually reconnected with a lot of folks there that I hadn't seen in a long time. So that was special. And then
that's important too. Like everything in moderation, including moderation. Like you're talking about a lot of stuff happening over this summer. You're talking about stuff where you having to be on.
Right.
You're having to give up what many would consider like lifetime opportunity because you're committed to something, being the ambassador,
right?
The way that you were, but then also talking about, organizing some of these things that being the guy,
right?
Having some recreation, having some fun with that too, right?
Yeah.
Like everything in moderation, and then being able to come back and actually like be a part of something where you are a part of it, but also to be in a place where you recharge. And how many guys out there need a recharge sometimes, right?
Right. Correct. Yeah. I agree with you 100%. And, you met my friend Jeremy who came with me today, but he actually came on that trip too.
Nice.
To Denver, and he had never been before. So, and he's hands-on. He'll jump in and he'll help out at any of these events if needed. And he's been a great friend and a lot of, provided a lot of good support for me. So, but then after that, I stayed in Denver for a couple weeks.
Yep.
And then my brothers and I had our annual trip, which is something that is very important to all three of us. I don't think enough siblings and families do this or do these types of trips.
Yeah.
And I think they should, especially
geographically, you three are away from each other.
Well, one's on the East Coast.
Yep.
One's middle of the US.
Yep.
And I'm on the West Coast.
You're in Western Canada. Yeah.
So,
and every year you do this, right?
Every year we do it. And one of us, we all take turns on who plans each trip.
Yeah.
So it was my middle brother's trip this year.
Yeah.
And we did a hunting trip in South Dakota. So, and it was something that none of us had ever done. And this gets back to where we were talking about, don't be afraid to always be learning something new. None of us had done this. So it was a guided trip and we had a really good guide and he showed us exactly how to hunt. We were hunting pheasant and
oh, nice.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like that, there were a lot of pheasant that got away from us, put it to you that way. But it was fun that none of us knew how to do it. And we all learned pretty well by the end of it. And it allowed us to spend a lot of time together and catch up. And, they have two very young, both of them have young families and they want to be obviously they want to be really present in their families' lives. So to get them away for 4 days, that's a lot of time.
Yep, absolutely.
And so it's special to do that. And I would encourage people to do that with their siblings. And I know that, certain families, the dynamics are different, but we all made an agreement.
I was going to say it takes effort though. Like it's a decision and it's effort because some people, family can be difficult.
Right.
But you can also say, despite the difficulties, what are the rewards if we push through those and make a commitment to creating these bonds? And I'm saying that for myself too. Like my sister and I have a phenomenal relationship. My brother and I can be strained sometimes. And I mean, I'm listening to you going, okay, I'm taking note. And I hope a lot of other guys who are listening to this or seeing this do the same thing.
If you're fortunate to have, in my case, two older brothers, stay in touch with them. Always communicate, always stay in touch and try to make time to have those trips, even if it's, just a weekend trip doing, whatever, fishing or anything like that. It's really important to keep those connections because what I've noticed is as you grow older, some families tend to, once siblings have started their own families, they tend to move apart because they have their own trips and their own family friends.
Lots of
and that's
in there.
There's nothing wrong with that, but it's important, I think, to come back together at least once a year and visit with all your siblings. And
well, I can tell you too, you kind of prying them or the agreement that you have, prying them away from their family for those 4 days or whatever, and then giving them the space to be present there when they go back home, they're going to be charged up in a different way, and they're going to be able to be present in their family at that point. It's important sometimes to feed. And as men, many times that's what we're doing. We're feeding the, people that maybe work with us or for us. We're feeding our families, of course. We're feeding our friendships and people that we try and influence. But it's also really important to be fed. Mm-hmm. And experiences like that help them be fed so they can go back and be better in their regular lives when they're feeding people.
Right. And this is the 8th year that we've done it. So I'm excited because I get to
Is it your turn next year?
No, I get to plan the 10th year.
Oh, that's cool.
So I get to find something fun for all of us to do and kind of have it, be the 10th year anniversary. And
it's a big one.
Yeah. Anniversary or whatever of doing these brothers trips. So I'm excited for that. I still got to figure out what we're going to do though.
Yeah. I know you have ideas. Yeah. That's probably what it is. You're filtering through a whole pile of options.
Correct.
And then the butcher shop is going as well. Like, I mean, you still got that happening. And I know that you it's autonomous in the sense of the way that you guys set it up, where you don't have to be there every single day. But when it gets busy, you roll up your sleeves and you're there. We're now in hunting season in the middle of October at the time of this recording.
Right, and
it must be chaos there now.
It was hard for me to be there this year with a lot of the trips that I was on, and that was okay. We really don't start getting super busy until September 1st.
Yeah.
But I went in on Monday and then I was there yesterday, so Tuesday, and I mean it was a grind all day. And we did a moose yesterday.
Yeah.
And it kind of took all day.
As they do.
Yeah. And I kind of got home at 7:30 last night, and I was like, I do need to go to the rank at 10 now, but I'm kind of tired. That was a full day, but it was good. It's, the coolers are full, and people are getting, getting their tags, or they're getting their animals and providing for their families. So that's great because we can provide the service for them to get it processed correctly and, move them on their way so that they're set to go for winter.
My dad was a hunter, and, in Kelowna here, I'll give a shout out. In Kelowna here, we've got there's a legendary butcher shop in Delhi called Illickman's, and they've been around. I think they're four generations now. It goes right. My dad's hunting partner was Robbie Illickman.
Okay,
and it was so lovely because before my dad and Robbie kind of connected, you get the animal butchered or whatever, and sometimes it was a crapshoot a little bit as to what you were going to get. But the moment he and Robbie started hunting together, and oh my gosh, I love when game meat is done right, which is probably the majority of the time. I guess, I don't know. I've only kind of known it done right. There's nothing better.
Right.
I mean, there is nothing better. You can feel the health benefits from it. It's than compared to the stuff that you get, even the best stuff at the supermarket. It's just it's a completely different ball game.
Well, and a lot of folks are actually getting into hunting a lot more these days.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're seeing an increase in people that are pulling tags, and they're actually bringing in animals to the point where sometimes we have to say, hey, you got to call this number instead because we're full, which is a good problem to have.
Sure it is.
We never want to turn anybody away.
No.
But sometimes we can't.
And the last time you were on here, this thing was just a concept.
It
was just a concept. Well, it was a little further along.
We were just getting going.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It just started, and it was, and maybe when we met, it was still at the conceptual phase. It was just
we were still building up to kind of our first year.
There we go, we go, and gratifying to see that.
It is. It really has been.
I'm really, really happy for you guys. I'm really happy for Randall. I like to get them out of both of them.
Yeah.
To get them out of the supermarket and to get them doing something that just, I mean, to me, that's living life in color at that point, as opposed to just going through the motions. And yes, you've got skills. Yes, you're trained to do something, but now it's there's a different dimension to it, and you help facilitate that. That's really cool.
And I was happy to do it, and I'm proud of what they've built, but I can't take too much credit for it. I mean, they built that literally from the ground up and to what it is now. And just watching everybody work well together yesterday while I was there, it kind of put a sneaky little grin on my face. And, it's really gratifying to see that on a personal note, but I'm also proud to see that they've made it their own. Yeah. And, I don't necessarily need to be there all the time, but it's fun to be there and, to watch them and see what they're doing. And it's informative. So I'm always learning new things and seeing different animals that come through. And it's been very interesting, and I've learned a lot. So
I love the way that you look at life and the way that you talk, and just listening to you, just be you.
Right.
Just be you. Just showing your viewpoint of the world and how you look at people and how you view people's success and whatever your role is in it,
right.
Whether it's a major or if it's just a nudge here and there.
Right.
We talk about hockey a lot, like it's just like curling, like it's a soft touch, right? Whatever it is. Your mindset is one that I think a lot of guys could take a look at and go, and when they re-examine where their mindset is, what they're focused on, you're one of those guys, just that when you speak, for guys who are present and they're listening to it, it's a real example. And that's me giving you accolades again. I know you hate that, but I'm still going to do it anyway. I appreciate the viewpoint that you have. I really, really do. Talk a little bit about what's next. Like, I mean, you are keeping you got lots of stuff coming too.
That is the $1 million question.
Yeah.
That is where I'm at right now, is trying to figure out what the next step is. And I think that's okay.
Sure.
Because I want it to be the right thing.
Yeah.
But I'm open to a couple different opportunities right now. If that's getting more involved with Dog Nation or, a couple other things, and so be it. But right now, the things that I'm thinking of, I'm going to kind of keep close to the chest.
And fair enough.
Just because, I don't want to.
The reason I'm saying that, and I know that a little bit too, like there's always lots of stuff that's always in the background. But the reason I say that though is because what you've described in all of the things that you're doing right now, that's also another clue. Success leaves clues. I'm a big believer in that. And you've got all these things going on.
Right.
Right. That we've done a really good job kind of summing up.
Right.
Really. But you still have new things. You're not entrenched into, because you could ride all of the things that you kind of talked about here. You could ride that out very, very easily and have a very busy and perhaps even very fulfilled life.
Right.
But your mindset is you're always looking at other opportunities as well.
Right. To
add and to complement and be a part of things. And
right.
And I think that also is another clue as well, is about complacency. You might be one of the least complacent people I know.
That's what happens when you're the youngest of three boys.
Oh, that could be it too. Yeah. You're always going to be the hustler. You start out behind a step, right?
Yeah. No, that's okay though. I think that builds character, and that made me into the person I am now. So I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
And I'm grateful that we could finally catch up. You and I always have the intention that we want to hang out more.
Right.
And that still remains the same. But both Candy and I, this is something that we implemented, I think probably maybe 5-6 years ago. Yeah, you know what? Around the time we came home from Children's Hospital with Alara.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things in our life that we find is we're pruning the relationships. And notice I say pruning, because a lot of people, I think they firebomb their garden, and
right.
That's not what we do. We prune our relationships. And when you prune a tree, it's not because you want to do anything except help it grow,
right.
and grow healthily.
Right.
With our relationships, we do the same thing, and we put boundaries up where boundaries need to be put up. But the people that we want to surround ourselves with, we set an intention to do this. And I feel like this is you intrinsically as well. I feel like we'll be common in this. The people that we want to have in our life are the ones who we have the intention that we want to see them a lot.
Right.
But realistically, a lot of us are all hustlers. We're all trying to build something. We're all trying to do what we're doing. And the reality is, in doing that, many times you don't get a chance to see some of these people. But when you do see them, it's like no time has passed whatsoever, except for let's just catch up on what's been going on,
right.
which feeds conversation, and it's enriching, and it's iron sharpening and all of that. And there's no judgment from either one because we all know that we're in the same boat.
Right.
Whereas we used to have relationships with people where there weren't boundaries, where we would feel almost bad for not hanging out
going to dinner or the party or anything like that.
Yeah. It was just, and to me, that's a certain level. And for you, like, that's how I know that's a marker that I have for people that I bring into my life. And you are certainly that. That being said, I still have the intention that I want to hang out with you a lot more. And I appreciate the hell out of you, man.
Well, I appreciate you as well. And, to add to what you were saying, life gets in the way sometimes, and that's okay. It's okay to focus on your own life, and you should. And, I do have friends that, like you said, I might not see them for a year, maybe 2.
Yeah.
But then when I do see them, it's like I just saw you yesterday.
Yep.
So, I can relate to that quite a bit.
And that's a marker, in my opinion. That's a marker for guys who are listening to this right now. If you have people like that in your life, those are the ones that you want to make sure,
Well, those are probably closer to your true friends, or, your friends, brothers, whatever. I mean, if you can go without talking to a friend of yours for a year, and then it's just like you see each other at the bar one night or at a restaurant or something like that, and you have a good conversation like it was yesterday, that's a marker for true friendship, I think. Yeah. And I think that's really important, and it's nice when you find those people.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Promise me this: we will do our very, very best. That it'll be a lot closer than 3 years for the next time you come on this show.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I promise you, the intention is there.
Oh, I know. And same on our side as well. Yeah. And a lot of cool things are happening. And I think that our orbits have a real opportunity to start colliding a lot more here very, very soon as he grows. And as we changed it. We talk about that now, and a little bit more as the We Changed It movement grows, and it is happening right now. So I just want to say thank you for everything that you have done to help us out in every way, including being here today. I appreciate you. I love you like a brother, and I appreciate you so, so, so much, more than you'll ever know.
Well, I feel like it's mutual, and I have a strong, suspicion that it definitely is. So
thanks, Carl.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. And more to come.
Absolutely.
To come. I love doing this show so much. And I just having someone here where there's a personal connection, a heart connection, of course. But at the end of the day, some of the stuff we talked about today, the idea of He Changed It, specifically within the We Changed It umbrella, the idea for He Changed It, this movement that my wife and her team are helming, but is taking on a life of its own, is the idea is for guys to take something that they need and leave something that they know. And I think this is a really, really good conversation where we talk about that, and how you've got people with these championship mindsets out there that do that. And that's really what it's all about. So what can you leave that you know? And what do you need that you maybe be a little bit vulnerable and you can go take, and it's going to help your life be better on the other side? Might be a good question to finish off this episode with. This has been another episode of HeCast, the official podcast of He Changed It. My name is Mike Chisholm. Go change something.